ETSU falls to Chattanooga 67-65, ending a 10-game winning streak against the Mocs. And I know what's wrong with the Buccaneers. Hi everybody, I'm Marky Billson, and remember what I told you before the game. It was that Chattanooga couldn't win the game, but ETSU could lose it. And that's exactly what happened. The Buccaneers committed 12 turnovers to the Mocs 5, boxed out all day long, perhaps until the end. In fact, that's one of the things that Jason Shea talked about after the game, the head coach of the Buccaneers. And Chattanooga came into the game the worst rebounding team in the Southern Conference. And although they weren't out-rebounded by the Buccaneers, I will say that ETSU did have slightly more rebounds. It was a situation where it was more competitive under the boards than it should have been. But the real reason, let's go back to those turnovers, okay? Because this is why ETSU lost the ball game. And basically, what it's boiled down to is ETSU needs to find a point guard. And they need to find a traditional point guard. Now, I know that, carrying the ball slowly across that timeline, putting the fingers up, we're going to run a 2 or whatever, running a play against a zone defense. I mean, that's probably out of date for a small girls' high school team, if you want to get right down to it. But still, there's got to be a point guard who thinks pass first, shoot second, and the most important thing for a point guard to do, no matter what era it is in basketball, and that's make the players around you better. The position is not necessarily you do the scoring, which I know Tim Smith never could figure out, but that's a long time ago and that's in the past. The position is make the players around you better. Now, who is the point guard for ETSU? Because nobody has stepped up and claimed this position. Is it Ladarius Brewer? Is it Sorrell Smith Jr.? Or is it David Sloan, who's really the only true point guard on the team? But here's the problem with Sloan. He commits far too many turnovers. And although he leads the team in assists, he still is taking shots. He's still one of the leading scorers on the team. I think third leading scorer on the team. I haven't checked the stat sheet before today, but one of the leading scorers on the team. And remember what I tell you. A point guard who leads your team in scoring is like a quarterback who leads your team in rushing. It really isn't what the position is designed for. Now, let me give you an example with Sloan's turnovers. Remember, he's probably the only true point guard the Bucs have. Really, Brewer and Smith are shooting guards, but nevertheless, first half ETSU has a 3-on-1 fast break. Sloan turns the ball over with a bounce pass where he throws to the one guy who's being covered. And a bounce pass. I mean, even if you had said, they've got it too defended too well, and we went into a slow down and went into a half-court game and ran a play, obviously that's better than turning the ball over. There are too many shots taken by ETSU point guards, in my opinion. And this isn't necessarily Sloan's fault, but is it just me, or are set plays not a part of the Buccaneers offense? It's more run down and whoever thinks they can make the shot, take it. Now, there's a lot of talk recently about Damari Monsanto becoming the leading scorer of the Bucs. This is the fifth straight game where he scored 20 points or been the leading scorer of the Buccaneers or so, and he's overtaken Ladarius Brewer as the go-to guy on the team. But keep in mind, this is not a 1-2 punch, as Joe Avento once said, the Ladarius Brewer Monsanto combination is. No, Brewer has fallen off the table. This is the go-to scorer has changed, and Brewer has become less of a factor for ETSU. There are not more points being scored. They've just been transferred to another player. And the big problem here is that if Ladarius Brewer doesn't score in double digits, If Ladarius Brewer isn't the go-to guy, history shows this season, Bucks don't win. Probably did beat Mercer. That's about it. ETSU is still the best defensive team in the Southern Conference, but they're the worst offensive team. Check the stats out. They're going to continue to do that, and they'll fall in Asheville if they can't find a point guard committed to making others better rather than taking the shots themselves. I'm Marky Billson. Honest ETSU analysis is what I give you. So why don't you follow me on YouTube or my Rumble page? Why don't you follow me on both? Also, Medium and Twitter. And until next time, hey, I'm Marky.